Well, right now, the Inspector General's office is investigating after a New Britain police officer fired a gun at someone during a pursuit.
Police say the person fit the description of a man they were looking for after hearing about reports of shots fired. Your reporter Anna Stansfield is live outside the police department with what we know this morning. Good morning.
Well, good morning, Tracy and Caitlin. Once police found that person that they say fit the description of someone involved in that shooting from earlier in the day, they tried to stop him while he was walking through the city with someone else. But the two ran away from police, which is when a chase began and shots were fired. Pinpoint News Tracker shows you how close the two incidents were to each other. The initial investigation only about a mile away from where the suspect was shot. We're told he was taken to the hospital for treatment. After the shooting, two firearms were found near the suspects. One next to them, another found on one of the people who ran away after they were taken into custody. State Police and the Inspector General have taken over the investigation, spending hours at the scene last night looking for evidence. Now, as the investigation here continues this morning, we still have several questions for police and the Inspector General. Right now, they're releasing very little details about what happened. But as soon as we get more information into our newsroom, we're going to bring you that very latest information both on air and on the WFSB app. For now, though, I'm your reporter live in New Britain, Anna Stansfield, Channel 3 Eyewitness News.